أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. My belief in all matters is the belief of the progeny of Muhammad, peace be upon them, in what they have kept a secret and what they have declared, and in what has reached me from them and what has not reached me. Today is the celebration of Eid al-Ghadir, and I think that there are many people in this world, especially in the countries that we live in, who do not know what happened on Eid al-Ghadir and what happened afterwards, and they do not understand the differences between Muslims. So today I was thinking to explain this a little bit. Firstly, I want to tell everyone that the Muslims are a nation that was deceived, and they knew the deceiving of the deceiver that deceived it. Yet it stayed determined upon the deception that it recognized, and it allowed its religion to be hijacked by the deceivers. They knew the clear path, but they blocked it, and the truth, but stayed away from it. This is why you find the Muslims living in a chaos today. They claim that the most intelligent person that ever walked this earth left his nation in a disarray and allowed it to be ruled by a man called Abu Bakr, who himself says that he has a devil that rides him. Followed by a second man called Umar, who buried his little daughter alive. And a woman called Aisha, who was so barbaric and cruel that she could have babysat Hitler and the Caliph of ISIS today. The trio who established an ideology 1400 years ago that is still in place today and has been used by groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS. A woman who ordered the slow beheading of 400 fellow Muslims is called the mother of the believers by 1 billion Muslims. 1426 years ago today is when the Prophet Muhammad, blessings be upon him and his family, announced Ali to be his successor. A man who understood and explained the intestines of the ants and the layout of the universe, and in those times in the desert treated his enemies better than the Human Rights Watch treats victims of war crimes today. This man, Ali son of Abu Talib, blessings be upon him, the successor of the Prophet Muhammad, blessings be upon him and his family, is the true carrier of the heavenly message after the Prophet. He was the carrier of this message of mercy and peace that you always hear the Muslims claim their messages about. The reason why you don't find this message of peace and mercy is because this man, Ali son of Abu Talib, blessings be upon him, after the Prophet's murder was abandoned, oppressed, attacked and murdered by the leaders of those who today falsely call themselves Sunni Muslims. This is why God does not bless them with this message. And from time to time, another terrorist faction is created in their name and the name of their religion, and according to the ideology of and representing their predecessors, Abu Bakr, Umar and Aisha. Imam Ali son of Abu Talib's house was attacked, and his wife, the Prophet's daughter, died as a consequence of the wounds that resulted from their attack, because Abu Bakr and Umar wanted him to leave the house and publicly agree to their tyrannical new regime, their tyrannical new government. Let's not say a prophet, let's say you today, as a Brit, American or a European. Imagine, and what would you do if Barack Obama or David Cameron came to your house and tried to force you to vote for him, and killed your mother, your sister, your wife or your daughter? I'll tell you what would happen. You would make sure that there is not a generation that does not hear about this, and expose the ones who are responsible for such a horrific crime. This would be taught in history classes till the end of times. I, as a Muslim, understand that people from different faiths and people who do not have faiths do not trust Muslims today, and that our reputation has been damaged by these numerous terrorist groups that continue to be created and shall continue to be created. Therefore, if you want to be able to differentiate between Muslims today, all that is needed for you is to ask Muslims one simple question. What is your opinion of Abu Bakr and Umar? If they are supportive, then you know that they follow that same terrorist ideology, though they may tell you that they do not agree with or see ISIS as Muslims. This in itself would be contradiction. And this would be like a Nazi saying, I do not agree with Hitler, or a Hitler fan who says, I do not agree with the Nazis. Yes, I did say these terrorist groups will continue to be created. That is, if this ideology is allowed to continue to have its freedom in spreading hatred and violence, which is all over their books. If you want to learn about what's in their books and how to silence those so-called Sunni Muslims who claim that they do not support ISIS, you should keep an eye on the Rafida, rejectionist Muslims. That's us. We bring out the matters from their books that they keep hidden from you. We're not saying that the general so-called Sunni population all support ISIS, all supports terrorism. But they definitely do strengthen groups like ISIS by carrying and protecting that ideology for them in a moderate way. There is no such a thing as a moderate terrorist. I am sure that you all agree that Nazis, Daeshis, ISISis and Bakris should be rejected everywhere on a daily basis. There is a very simple solution. That is the ideological Rafidi rejectionist revolution. The heads of these terrorist ideologies must be exposed. The Prophet's family rejected them when they committed their first crime. Yet, due to the lack of supporters, nothing could be changed. Today, we have all reached a state of awareness. A state of awareness and a level of awareness that requires us all to revolt. You all need to become Rafida rejectionists and reject all forms of oppression, terrorism and tyranny. In this country, you start by protesting and telling your government that you reject their relations with tyrannical governments like Saudi and Iran. Britain cannot hold on to its principle of freedom and human rights when it befriends Saudi, who is against all form of human rights and freedom. It's against all humans in general. This relationship must be rejected so that terrorism is not strengthened. The Rafidi rejectionist revolution is truly the only solution. We need to start rejecting this corruption. This lack of care about what's happening in the world will come back to bite you all, and your children and the following generations will suffer. I'm not saying we should carry arms and revolt. Far from that. Just create a stance and show the world that there is a solution to all of this bloodshed. Enough with the governments that allow humanity to suffer for their own political gains and benefits. Enough with the governments that try to keep the citizens away from reality.